let's talk in detail as far as the civic apathy that had been reported in Bengaluru. It has been close to 24 hours ever since the accident that was reported in the outer ring road area of a heavily congested road in Bengaluru, where you can see that even when it comes to the remnants of the said pillar, the killer pillar, that is still not been removed. And this negligence has claimed the lives of two people, a mother and her 2.5-year-old son. And looking at the situation, it seems that this is blame game, unfortunately, that has now taken place when it comes to the Bengaluru disaster that is said to be in waiting. As now we tell you exactly how this disaster could have been prevented, even when it comes to the causes of those disasters, and there were warning signs that they were ignored. A picture that has been posted by a Twitter user in November, when the metro pillar was being bent, it was tilted, but fortunately then hadn't failed. But the question comes up that why no lessons that have been learned? Let me go across to Deepak now. Deepak, the same road, the same pillar that is in question when it comes to this particular picture that was posted by a resident back a few months back. And if this was a disaster waiting to happen, it seems that till now no lessons have been learned.
Well, absolutely. Now you have a picture that has been put up. Now we should understand that, the ORR, the outer ring road, the entire corridor, starting from Silk Board, there is metro construction that's happening up until Hebal, which goes into, the new airport. Now, there is most parts of it, of course, are still under construction. Pillars are being built on a very regular basis. This picture has been put up by this Twitter user, in November. Now, you can see the entire TMT bars tilted towards, the side of the road where the vehicles are commuting. Fortunately, there it has not completely collapsed onto any sort of vehicle. Now, the question here is, if this has happened, that means, the BMRCL officials were made aware that there was impending danger in, the type of construction or in the method or the technique that was used for construction of these pillars. More importantly here, if you take a look at that picture very closely, you will see that, the tender that has been awarded is for a different company when in comparison to, the pillar collapse that happened near Nagwara or near Hennur. Now the question is, who is really giving the guidelines? Is there something wrong in the technical guidelines to construction of these pillars using these TMT bars that is faulty? If this is in the same manner that, there are two instances that have occurred over the span of the last couple of months, why were no lessons learned is a question, and what is the BMRCL really doing about handling such scenarios? After, two people have died, they've announced a compensation and they've said now IISC will look into it. Why did they look into it then? If they did, an incident like what happened yesterday could it have been prevented is the biggest question now that comes up. And more importantly, we've had other reports as well, where people have, of course, probably not posted it, but have witnessed certain issues with, the construction sites at various, metro pillars that are being built in the city.
But that's the point there, no, Deepak, because Tejaswini and Vihan could have been alive today. This incident altogether could have been avoided. And if this is the state of the construction activity there, because in all likelihood, when such construction work is being done, and to even just to reach the deadline, there are scaffoldings, there are safety measures that are taken into record. It doesn't seem that anything that was being done here and there was out and out danger. It was just something that was waiting to happen. Unfortunately, it was Tejaswini and her son who had grievously sustained injuries, but unfortunately they succumbed.
Absolutely, and if any sort of lessons were learned, if an investigation then would have been ordered, if they would have found out that the same method of construction, the same material of construction, whatever went wrong, if they had an analysis done during that time in November, you had 2 months to, fix it. And you wouldn't have probably had a situation like this. These lives wouldn't have been lost. Yesterday, we had the BMRCL MD.
Deepak, just stay on with us. Mr. S. Prakash of the BJP is with us right now. Mr. Prakash, now we need accountability here, sir. In fact, when it comes to a mother and a son who have lost their lives, this was an incident that could have been prevented. But there were warning signs, sir. There have been people who have been putting out pictures that this was a disaster waiting to happen, but no action was taken.
No, it is a gross negligence by the contractor and the engineers on the site. I think they should be arrested immediately for this, for the responsible for the 2 deaths. Definitely no mercy should be shown to them.
No, sir, but what happens to the fixing of the accountability? It is almost close to 24 hours ever since the incident that has been reported, that accident that has been reported, sir. We are not looking at any arrest that has happened so far.
The government chief minister has already ordered a higher level inquiry into the incident. And government is definitely going to take a concrete action against such negligence. It is a life of two precious lives have been lost. And definitely a stricter action is required, and I'm sure the government will ensure that it happens.
No, but what happens with the reaction that came in of the BMRCL official, Mr. Anjum Parvez, saying that with my resignation, will the lady come back? I mean, such is the kind of callous statements that have been made by the officials.
Whoever has made any callous statement, he needs to be apologized, and government needs to take note of it.
You're giving that assurance, sir. Can you give us a timeline as well that in the coming few hours there will be arrests that will be made?
No, the government, the duty is to protect the citizens. If there is any lapse, negligence, and definitely that needs to be punished. And that is the job of a government. And certainly this government is going to do that. Let's wait for 1 or 2 days how the things will unravel.
Because are you in touch also when it comes to the family of those who have sustained injuries as well? When it comes to the man and his other daughter who have been grievously injured, even when it comes to the father of the victim, Tejaswini in the case, he has been saying that I don't want money, I don't want compensation, I want my daughter back. And he's very unhappy and disappointed in the way that the government has been working, Mr. Prakash.
No, I cannot comment on his sentiment. He has lost his wife and the daughter. It's a very big loss, and his sentiments, I respect it.
Mr. S. Prakash, thanks very much for joining in right now. So the BJP leader, they are saying that the government will be doing everything that it could do, especially when it comes to providing relief to the grieved family. Coming back to you there, Deepak, because it seems that the family is not very happy with the kind of work and the assurances that have been given by the government. The father seems to be saying that I don't need 20 lakhs in compensation. In return, I will give you 2 crores, but get my daughter back.
Well, the family was inconsolable. We were at the mortuary yesterday where they were waiting for the postmortem to get, over. And they wanted, for the body to be handed over so that they can conduct the final rites. And we were there and we did see what condition the family were in. And when we spoke to the family members, they made one thing very clear. Would they have died if they were just commuting on that road? And would they have really, something would have happened to them if, this pillar wouldn't have collapsed? And if it did, who's at fault? Who's going to take the blame? What really went wrong? Now, for no fault of theirs, they have lost their lives. And, the people need to be pulled up. The question is, incident after incident, whenever we see, potholes killing people, whenever we see open drains killing people, dangling wires killing people, you sometimes don't even have officials that are named in the FIR. In this, there are designations of officials that are mentioned, like site contractors, BMRCL officials. Well, who is going to be really booked? All of them mentioned as unknown. And, well, the police can say it was a very short duration of time. The question is, couldn't they have even identified one engineer who was in charge of that particular construction site? That's absolutely bizarre. Even if you would have probably asked the construction workers there, they would have given contact of the person who was handling them. And it was just a chain of command that they had to follow. So the question is there even intention for, ensuring accountability here? And it's a common man who firstly loses his life. He pays his taxes, and he's paying his taxes for for infrastructure, which is again killing him. And then you have no accountability where the police, even in cases where potholes are killing people, the negligence of the driver is mentioned in the FIR, but no official's name is mentioned. So how long are the people in Bengaluru going to really suffer in this way is a question that comes up. But time and again, while accountability is sought, we don't really get some needful answers.
Well, they ask for